Tony D and Little Joan is asleep on the couch. This is a screenwriter's rant about the ambush, although in its native tongue, this movie was known as Al Kameem. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books, links in the description. Comedy Horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys, books 1 through 9, available at Amazon.com. I will be at the Monroe Township Library tomorrow night at 6:30 p.m. for my talk on how to hunt the Jersey Devil. If you're in the Williamstown, New Jersey area, stop on by. 6:30. So this is about the Yemen war in 2018, and the interesting thing about it, it is an Arab movie made by the United Arab Emirates, and the main characters are how do they say it? Emiratis. They're from the UAE, and they're part of the group that's fighting the rebel Houthis, I believe, in Yemen. It's a vicious war. It's terrible, and this movie kind of feels like propaganda. I have to say right up front, it may very well be propaganda, and I mean, but at the same time, what war movie isn't? So it's probably unabashedly anti the rebels, who are, I believe, the Houthis, and then they're very pro the current Yemeni government, which I'm not such a big fan of, and I don't know if I should be such a big fan of the Houthis, but I'm definitely not a big fan of the Yemeni government. It's one of those governments the United States has been propping up for years. I criticize Trump for doing this. I think we should get out of the region. I don't think we should be there. I assume this is all our equipment that we sold these guys. I mean, look at it. You would have thought these guys were Americans if I just showed you the still, right? And they got a armored Humvee with a machine gun on top, 50 caliber machine gun that moves all on its own from the car. Like there's a remote control, and it immediately targets a guy standing in the middle of the road. It is, however, directed by Pierre Morel, who directed Taken, which is a really good movie. So I have no doubt this is a really well-paced, well-shot, well-directed movie. So see, here's the guy, he stands in the road, he's the distraction, and then some terrorist-looking guys hit him with RPGs. And then it's about them stuck in the armored vehicle until backup arrives. And then they send out a whole army to save two guys. And for some reason, the Houthis don't just keep firing RPGs until these guys are dead. I don't really get it, but it's based on a true story. So they basically say, well, we have to stay alive for an hour and then they'll save us. And here's the thing. You see all the equipment these guys have, right? Like this is American level of equipment. Then you got equipment here. You see the UAE, they got tons of money, man. They bought it all. They bought everything. They bought the entire G.I. Joe set, man. They got helicopters. They got more armored vehicles. They got more body armor. These guys got mortars, AK-47s, RPGs, and hats like this guy, and not the cool camo ones. So, I mean, look at it. And they got drones too. So you're not from the outside looking into this. You know, as an American, I'm not a big fan of supporting anybody in the Middle East because I think all the regimes are pretty corrupt and not great. So on the outside looking in, from a screenwriter standpoint, you've got two guys trapped, but they were armed to the freaking teeth. By the way, it was written by Curtis Bertel and I'm assuming his brother Brandon Bertel. These guys don't have body armor. They just got, Kalashnikovs and a dream to overthrow the government, I assume there. These guys got everything. They've got everything. And that the insurgents are able to fight them at all is kind of impressive from the insurgent side. So I'm not sure who I should be rooting for here as an outsider. But as a screenwriter, I find this movie fascinating because it is the most popular Arab-speaking movie currently in the UAE. So that says something. It says something about the locals, why they like this movie. Well, you'd have to see it. I imagine it's because it's a war movie in their culture, showing off, you know. There's a scene where a guy calls his wife and says, hug the kids for me. Again, he's got a cell phone. He's able to make a call from the vehicle and call his wife direct. I mean, you couldn't do that in a lot of wars before. And so, it's a different culture. So what you get out of watching this Screenwriters, and none of it's in English, by the way. It's all subtitled. You get to see a war movie in another culture, and then you also get to see what that other culture likes to view. This is like their version of Top Gun Maverick, essentially. This is their military movie. Yay, UAE. That's what they're saying in the movie, essentially. And that's what we say in our movies, too. So I'm not knocking them for making a movie. I mean, our military movies are propaganda, too. This is just a different kind of propaganda. But that's what's sort of, a little off about it. So halfway through the movie, they might say or do something that I'll go, wait a minute. But that's the interesting thing, too, because they don't live by our rules. They live by a different set of rules. These aren't Americans fighting in a field of battle. These are UAE soldiers. And now, is this realistic? I have no doubt this is probably pretty propaganda for the forces that are fighting the Houthis. So I'm a bit torn about even going to see the movie because I wouldn't want to support it. But at the same time, since I know going into it what it is, maybe I'd watch it on a streaming service that I already have. I don't think this would get wide distribution anyway, in the States. Even though it was a hit movie over there, I mean, this would end up, I would think, on American Netflix. That seems to be where it would end because, Netflix seems to buy up a lot of good foreign movies. And this is made by Pierre Morel, the guy who did Taken. So it's probably going to be excellent in terms of its pacing, in terms of the action. The script, I don't know. Now, if it's too propagandistic, it may have a lot of messages in there. You'll be going, what? Why is he saying that? I don't know. That may be hard to discern, too, because you're going to have to read subtitles to sort of get it. But it's definitely one I would, for the screenwriters out there, I'd recommend you'd watch. Because it would give you a different perspective on war in another culture. And it's also showing you what people in the UAE seem to like to watch. And maybe, I suspect that it gives you the perspective of like, well, every culture is going to have its super gung-ho patriotic movie about the military and sort of lionize it because, well, it's their country. Why wouldn't they lionize their own military and their accomplishments? Even though this one doesn't really feel like an accomplishment, more like a rescue thing, kind of like a Black Hawk Down thing. And Black Hawk Down is touted as a great movie, so, great drama about war or whatever. Maybe this is the same or very similar. Maybe it's very different. I don't think so, though. I think there are universal themes here about war and fighting and death and, family. There's, So, yeah. Again, I would see it, if I could see it for free. I don't think I'd go to the movies to see it. I don't think it would be playing anywhere near around me because, it would probably, it feels like because it's a foreign movie, it should probably go in the art house. But war movies are usually not art house, so maybe it wouldn't be appropriate. So maybe it'd just be in a few select theaters around the country, or maybe the UAE, which has tons of money. United Arab Emirates. Yeah, UAE has tons of money. Had money to, when they made this thing for like $40-50 million, I I'm sure the guys who financed it with, oh, only 40, 50 million? Let me see. I think I got that right here. You know, it wouldn't take them much to just say, oh, we'll just pay the money to get it in widescreen distribution. That to me, though, would speak to my mind that this is propaganda. Like, if they're going to spend that kind of money to get it into theaters, because I don't think they can make that kind of money back. I don't think this will take off as a big hit in the United States. You know, it might do some business, but I don't think, like, if they spent 50 million to get it into like 3,000 theaters here, I don't think they'd make that money back. Not by a long shot. But maybe again, UAE, they don't need the money. They got money to burn. So it would be interesting to like drive past the theaters and see if like this is playing in every movie theater, right? That'd be weird, but it's possible. And that's it for me, Tony D. Little Jones asleep on the couch. Thanks for tuning in. I'm having such a rough time on videos today. So hopefully tomorrow will be better. Check me out at the Monroe Library in Williamstown, and see you in the next one.